Chicago Bulls currently sit in third place in the East. If you remember, I did say, along with a lot of other teams, and a lot of people, that the Bulls would not be a top 4 team in the East and that they would finish, at best, 6th. I said they lack depth. I did say that. And I said they lack defense. I did say that. I said a lot of mean things about them. And wouldn't you know it, 670 The Score called me up today and asked me if I'd be interested in talking to them on Thursday. And you know why? Because the Chicago Bulls have made me look foolish, and 670 The Score, our family station, one of the top sports radio stations in the nation, they heard me, and they're willing to make me be like, shame! I'm going to go naked through the streets of Chicago. Shame! Shame! That's what that walk is going to be. We're 13 games into the season. There's time for me to be right, but things aren't looking good. I do hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I was wrong, because this team, if I am wrong, this team is a monster. They are so fun. Damn it, if the Bulls aren't one of the most fun teams in the NBA, boy, I thought that they would be fun but not successful. You know, like that friend in college who you know's not going anywhere, but he's always a good time, you know? And then you look up and you're like, Sean Ritter, are you Group Vice President of Fisher Investments? Ritter, prayer. He was a fuck-up boy, but he was fun. And now he is making cheese. He is super successful. That is the Bulls right now. So there is a lot to be excited about. Zach LaVine, of course, bucket. Lonzo Ball, who knew what Lonzo Ball could be when set free? He is a defensive clamp. He is an assist monster. Vooch, despite his numbers being down, hide the fact that he's actually playing some fucking defense as well, which haven't seen that. Didn't see that in Orlando. Didn't see that last year. His assists, steals, and blocks are way up while his turnovers are down. Folks, if I'm not speaking fluidly, it's because I got these Invisalign in my mouth, and it's hard for me to talk. So we're going to keep going. But this year for Chicago has really been about one man, Demar DeRozan. I said some things, called him a mid-level exception guy. To say DeRozan has been unstoppable would be an understatement. He's scored 17 or more in every game this year, and he's dropped 34 times. Over 34 times, including back-to-back games against Boston and Philly, in which he scored 37 fucking points. He is averaging currently 26, 6, and 4, which is quite a bit higher than his career numbers, which are, quite frankly, Dame Lillard and Trae Young numbers. Last year, he averaged 21 for the Spurs, and there was chatter. There was chatter that he was a mid-level exception guy, just like I said. So what the fuck is going on here? Because this team shouldn't be this good, and quite frankly, DeMar DeRozan should not be this good right now. He's old. He's very old in a league that has seemingly passed him by. A lot of threes people are taking, and DeMar DeRozan's game does not necessarily match that style of play. Turns out a bunch of people, including myself, have gotten DeMar wrong. He is now blistering team after team after team like it is the DeMar DeRozan revenge tour. He even mentioned today, yes, I took it personally that you guys, the media, all of NBA Twitter called me washed. I took that personally. He said, I can go down the list of just being counted out, being looked over, so many chips on my shoulders that I carry, Yoda, and just wanting to be a winner and wanting to enjoy this ride. We can't play this game forever, so I want to get as much as I can out of it. Yup. How's he doing it? On a recent episode of the Hoop Collective, they made the argument that his success came from Billy Donovan basically forcing him to buy into not shooting threes. and taking more bread and butter mid-range shots, and that's actually not true. Comparing the entire run in San Antonio to this year, he's actually shooting twice as many threes as he did as a Spur, from well under 1 a game to nearly 2.5 as a Bull. But what he's doing is he's taking open looks because Lonzo Ball, boy, is getting him some open ones. Oh, yes. Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan are a match made in heaven like PB&J. He is hitting a career 37% from 3. Bulls, like I said, playing unselfish basketball, all 5 starters, averaging 4 or more assists right now. The Bulls last year only had 1 player averaging 4 assists last year. The Bulls seemingly very fluid, like they've been together forever, and they have 8 players that were all on different teams last year. They like each other. On a recent win, DeMar said, "I could not be more happy being in Chicago." And you know what? I think it shows. DeMar is not just a legit MVP candidate, but he seems to love his new environment, love his new teammates, and love being wanted. That's a key piece. He called Caruso one of the highest IQ players that I've played with since I've been in the game. Yes, he is. And DeMar is carrying this team, playing some of the most unselfish basketball in the league. In the Sunday night win over the Clippers, Billy Donovan ran DeRozan and 4 other defenders with no 5 at the small-ass Clippers. And the Clippers were like, oh, shit, we got to put in a big man. Let's bring in Hartenstein. And you know what happened? Billy Donovan was like, all right, DeMar, you got to go. You got to sit your ass down. And DeMar was like, that's fine with me. What other superstar player would be okay with when a big man comes in, you're the one that immediately gets subbed out? You are the first man back onto the fucking bench. DeMar DeRozan is. I think it's pretty clear that DeMar DeRozan, man, this is an apology tour. I think it's very clear that DeMar DeRozan is and was the best, most low-key, best pickup of free agency this year. Yep. That's true. And you can tell that there are teams that are like, I should have probably made more of an effort to get him. The Lakers, of course. The Lakers, of course, most obvious fit. Ton of questions. Hey, Rob Pelinka, how come you guys didn't go get DeMar and you guys got this Russell Westbrook guy and you had to pay him $50 million a year, 48, and you had to trade a bunch of pieces? DeMar is from LA, like Russ, and made it very, very clear, I want to go home. Turns out he did meet with Braun twice, spoke with them often about how he and AD would fit together. They're like, we need you, DeMar. Come to LA, DeMar, DeMar, DeMar. And instead, no calls came. No calls came for DeMar. Instead, what you got was in the middle of the night, DeMar DeRozan looking at his Twitter, and it's like, Lakers trade for Russell Westbrook. And you're like, well, I know I'm not going to be on that team anymore. You think DeMar was salty about that? I mean, of course he fucking was salty. He was Salt Bay. This is what he said. I mean, it was a real possibility. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I wanted to come home. You know, I did try and make it happen. There was a real possibility of it happen. Parentheses, my personal quote, not the real quote. Because Rob Pelinka's a fucking snake, and they had multiple moves happening at the same time. And then he said, you know, things just didn't work out, if you know what I mean. Because, you know, he got snake moved. DeMar and Braun and AD make way more sense than Russ and AD and Braun. It makes more sense from a spacing standpoint. It makes sense from a scoring standpoint. It makes sense from a decision-making quality and a salary standpoint. Because if you would have gotten DeMar, Lakers, you also could have gotten the next guy, the GOAT, in our next segment, Alex Caruso. You could have. He just literally, Caruso blasted Rob Pelinka for lowballing him. They offered him 2 years, $14 million apiece. Whew. Cold piece. Lakers, if they had DeMar and the GOAT Caruso, might be a real contender instead of a fraudulent pretender, which they are currently now. As for DeMar has scored 103 points in the fourth quarter alone this year. That's the most in the NBA. That's 20% better than the next best, Cole Anthony. Let's be real. He plays for Orlando, Cole Anthony, who has 85. Cole Anthony's putting the team on his back because who else is there? Exactly. DeMar DeRozan is unstoppable. He's unselfish. He's clutch. So we, myself included, see, this is going to be great because I'm going on 670 The Score on Thursday. And I'll have this piece up to say, you know what? I did see this before we talked. So let's give DeMar his flowers. DeMar is now the engine behind a team that I would say the entire NBA fan base wants to be good. All we want is the resurgence of the Chicago Bulls. But I don't even know how to redo the sound, but you know what I'm saying. And now I might just become, as a result, another meme. Yikes.